What's going on, guys? My name is Dallas here. I get a lot of questions about how my program works, whether you're following me on social media or you know me in real life. Hey, Dallas, what do you do? How do you help people? Will this work for me? And I'm here to talk to you guys today about how I help people reach your second prime, how former athletes are losing 15 pounds of fat, um, packing on lean muscle in 16 weeks using the prime method. Why prime method? You got to give shit a cool name, otherwise no one gives a fuck what you're talking about. So I gotta give it a cool title, man. So um, just full transparency here, the guys you see down here are my clients. However, these transformations are not 16 weeks. These are like my man on the left here. This is Josh. He lost 100 pounds in a year. Nathan, this might be like 4 to 6 months here. My man Chip, this is a couple years. He's 50 plus years old and he's got a six pack in 2 years. And then my man Ken over here, that might have been like closer to a year. So um, although we are helping guys, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about my front end program, which is 16 weeks, talking about the prime method here. And uh, yeah, guys are seeing results in that kind of time, but my guys who stick around longer, these are their before and afters. So we're going to talk to you guys about that and how guys are doing it all without eating like a bodybuilder, man. No more of that chicken and rice bullshit that you hear all the movie stars talking about, that bodybuilder, boring ass diet. No meal plans. We're not missing out on restaurants with your family. As you see, these guys are in their 30s and 40s and 50s in some cases. They got to be able to go out with their families and have a good time, whether they're a lot of these guys are in sales or in real estate. They're going out to eat with coworkers. They're going on vacation with the family. I need these guys to be able to be in the best shape of their lives without feeling like they're missing out on anything. And we're also doing it all without spending more than 5 hours a day, 5 hours a week in the gym, rather. And I know you guys don't have a lot of time as is, and neither do I. So I always want to be realistic of people's time frames. We don't need to be in there 3 hours a day doing all the shit you guys used to do when you played sports. We're going to talk about how we can make that work in a smaller time frame. So who the hell am I? What's my story? So as you can see over here, I grew up playing sports, football and track in high school. I was always the smallest kid. As you can see on the left, I ran track in high school. I wasn't that great. I was all right, man. I was okay in the district. I was like 70 pounds all through high school. I think I graduated high school at 100 pounds, which is insane. As you can see on the right, that's me competing for Team USA in powerlifting. So we made some type of transformation there. I was always obsessed with working out, man. Just being that small kid, I always wanted to maximize my potential. I figured that putting on muscle would get me on the field with football. I thought it would help me in track. So I was always obsessed at a young age with working out. Fast forward to my adult life, went to Rutgers. Once I had the time, I was like, finally, I don't have a coach and I'm not playing sports. I can focus solely on like my fitness and just do things the way I want to. So I experimented with a lot of things. I was doing online programs. I was watching Elliot Hulse on YouTube. Just trying to figure out how to get in the best shape of my life and pack on some muscle. Eventually, I spun my wheels for a couple of years, and then I got a coach, and that really changed everything. That coach showed me how to think about my fitness and just life in general. He was a great mentor to me. So eventually, I figured it out, right? Came back home, made some type of crazy transformation. I think people saw that I went from like 100 pounds to like 50, 60 pounds heavier. And they're like, damn, Dad, what the fuck did you do? Like, help me do the same. Like, you look completely different, right? So I made an insane transformation there. Started competing in powerlifting, like I said, in a few years' time. Like I'm on the right, I'm like 23 there. I went from being the smallest guy in the gym, like when I walked on campus, to a few years later, competing for Team USA in powerlifting. And at that meet, that was like a world level meet. So I placed second in the world for my age group and my weight class. So just pretty, like, for me to see that in myself, it was kind of cool. Like, damn, I was literally the smallest guy in my fucking campus gym. And like everybody around me is just like lifting more weight than me. And I go from that to second in the world. So if I can do that, if I can make that type of transformation in a few years' time, I know you guys can get to where you want to go as well. And, that doing that and accomplishing that type of transformation, I think people around me started to see that. And that's kind of what got me into coaching. Like, I realized, oh shit, I saw what fitness did for my life. And I'm like, oh shit, like I have some type of value to give people here. So started coaching people for free. Eventually got some experience. And after college, working a bunch of different jobs. Like, messed around with personal training in a gym. Didn't like that too much because I felt like people weren't getting results because the only thing you're doing is like counting their reps and helping them with their workouts. You and I both know, watching this, that it comes down to nutrition, mindset, accountability, having a system, all these things. That was the personal training thing. Worked doing strength and conditioning with youth high school athletes. college athletes, messing around there. I like that, working with that group. And then I messed around with Rutgers football for a little while, brief stint, just interning in their strength and conditioning program, learning a lot about what they do. Started my coaching program in 2019, where I helped former athletes reach their second prime. I did dabble in my niche for a little while, like when I think I was like 23, 24 when I first started my business, online coaching, trying to find a system to help guys get in the best shape of their lives, doing things my way instead of working for someone else. I think I messed around with like sales pros, type A guys, and then I eventually stumbled into, all right, I need to specifically help former athletes with this kind of thing because I feel like I can speak to that audience the most. I feel like I can relate to it, and I feel like a lot of people are not really speaking to you guys the way I can. So taking me over a decade to figure this shit out in terms of the health and fitness stuff. Like I'm 28 now. I've probably been working out seriously since I was like 17, 18. Made a lot of mistakes along the way, did a lot of stupid shit. If I could take my 10 years of experience and package it in a way where it makes sense to you guys and save you guys the time and mistakes that I made, then that's always a win for me. So who is this training for? Who is this video for? Who is my program for? This is for former athletes who have struggled with their fitness after life got in the way. So maybe you were high level. You don't even got to be a high level athlete. Like you could have just been mediocre like myself. You know, whether you played high school ball, college ball. I'm not saying you got to be some guy who went to the NFL to be considered in this, this group of guys. Maybe you just played some type of sport at any type of level and you liked how you felt doing it. You were in good shape and then life got in the way, right? You transitioned to a full-time job. You got the family, you got the kids. And as a result, maybe you just stopped working out. You gained a little bit of weight. You want a sustainable approach to your fitness long-term. You want to turn this into a lifestyle. It's for guys who don't feel like themselves anymore. It may not even just be a physical transformation that you want. Like some of you guys, you stop playing ball and maybe you gain 10, 15 pounds. And, if people looked at you, they wouldn't really notice it, but you notice it because you're seeing the standard that you hold yourselves to. And it's not even about the weight that you gain. It's more so, I don't feel like myself. It's more of the mental health aspect. Like I felt best when I had some type of routine, some structure in my life. So you crave that structure and consistency of getting up, going to practice, working out every day, and just being on point with your nutrition. Having some type of routine makes you feel like yourself. This is for those kind of guys. You miss that consistency. These are for guys who, this is for guys who have their lives together, but it came at the expense of their health. You just feel like something's missing. I feel like a lot of guys out there, especially like my former athletes, because they're so type A, they're so all or nothing with their goals, they will harness that energy from their sport and apply it to work once they stop playing the sport. But then the fitness comes at the expense, right? Like my little brother's a perfect example of this. He played football his entire life. He just turned 24. Played football his entire life, high school, college, and now he works a sales job. I feel like a lot of former athletes gravitate towards entrepreneurship and sales. He works a sales job now, and he's fucking crushing it right now. But it came at the expense of his fitness. He just stopped working out altogether, and he poured that same type of energy into his career, and he realized he was losing himself in the process. So that's when he reached out to me, and we got his shit back on track. So perfect example there. Lastly, is for guys who want synergy between your fitness and your life. Like before, I feel like a lot of, like when you played sports, I feel like a lot of former athletes kind of fall into this thing where the fitness and the sports, it kind of is your life. I want to get you guys to a point where this is just a part of your life. And even someone who does this for a living, I don't fucking live in the gym like people may think I do, right? I still work full-time, work a lot of hours. I got family and friends I got to see. This is just a part of my life. I'm not obsessed with fitness like people may think. It's just something that's a part of my day. Like I spend less than an hour in the gym most days. I don't put too much time into the nutrition. I'm just like following certain principles. And it works for me. It's sustainable. So I know if I can do that, then you guys can do it as well. And the cool thing is once you have synergy, it's not only just about making time for fitness along other things, but it's also improving the quality of those other things because your fitness and your health is on track. For example, being able to go outside and play with your kids because your fitness is great. Having more mental clarity at work and closing more deals. Scaling your business because your mental endurance and your stamina is better. So that's what I mean when I say synergy. Who is this not for? This is for people who have those unrealistic goals. They want the fast results. You guys have no idea how many times I get on the phone with guys and they're like, yeah, I want to pack on 30 pounds of muscle this year. That's just not even realistic. So this is not going to be for people who have those types of goals. This is not some get rich fast type of thing, right? We're not going to lose 30 pounds in a month and be on our merry way just because you watch this training or just because you sign up for my program. It's a long-term process. We're trying to turn this into a lifestyle. And the only type of people this will work for are people who can kind of understand that coming in, having the right expectations. This is not for people who see this as a means to an end. Again, you guys have no idea how many people I talk to who almost go in with this mentality where it's like another crash diet, it's another keto, it's another carnivore diet. Like, dude, if you're just seeing this as a thing where you're going to lose a few pounds and be fine and you got this all figured out, then you're in the wrong place. Just click off the video, right? I don't give a fuck about I don't even care about weight loss. I care about turning this into a lifestyle, making this a part of your identity. I don't care about what you can do for the next 30 days. Anyone can come in and be intense for 30 days. I care about what you can do for the next 30 years. So if you're coming in thinking this is some, hey, I'm going to lose 30 pounds in this amount of time and that's it, then click off the video. Thirdly, if you're unwilling to commit 3 to 5 hours a week to high quality workouts, then click off the video. I know y'all are busy. I get it. I know some of y'all got kids. You got jobs that demand 60 hours a week. But look, man, if you're not willing to work out for 3 to 5 hours a week, if you're not willing to take, 5% of your day to make your life 50% better, if you're not willing to do that, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you tell me you can't find 3 to 5 hours a week to commit to quality workouts when it's going to improve your life that much. I know y'all sitting there watching the games on the weekend. I know y'all got Netflix pulled up at night. I know you guys are on social media. I know you guys are on your phones a lot. You got to be intentional about it, but I know you can find 3 to 5 hours a week. And if you're not willing to do that, this shit is just not going to work for you. I'm sorry. Lastly, it's not for people who want the results but aren't willing to pay the price. I made a typo there. You just want to do your things. You just want to do things your way. Like, I can't tell you how many times I talk to guys and it's like, I have my guys personally track their food. And then they're like, yeah, I kind of tried the whole food tracking thing. It didn't work for me. Can we do something else? It's like, look, man, doing shit your way didn't work for you. This is a proven system that's helped, hundreds of guys over the years get in the best shape of their lives. And it'll work for you if you're willing to do the work, but you got to be open-minded enough to accept, hey, this is the process. And maybe that means not doing shit the way I did it before, or, changing my mind on certain things. Here's why you struggle with your fitness as a former athlete. This is just a list of things that I've noticed in terms of trends with guys that I've spoken to and stuff I've actually struggled with personally as well. So number one, your lifestyle is different. When I say your lifestyle is different, I mean, look, when you were an athlete, you had that as your primary focus. You went to class, you went to practice, played in the games on the weekends, whatever sport you played. And that was kind of your life. Now you might have a stressful job. You have a mortgage to pay. You have responsibilities. Fitness is not your primary focus anymore. And I know you guys are so all or nothing because it's not your primary focus anymore. Now it's just not a focus at all, right? So we got to find that synergy. Lack of time. Y'all don't have 3 hours a day to go to practice. Y'all don't have time for the 2-a-days like you did before. Now you're lucky if you can squeeze a 45-minute workout in. You don't have time to be in the dining hall focusing on your nutrition. You don't have time to be researching this shit that I've taken 10 years to figure out, right? You guys just need something quick. You guys need something that you can implement right now easily, something that's simple and works with your schedule. No structure. One mistake I see a lot of guys make is they kind of go in and they're just winging it with their fitness. They're going in the gym, they're looking up TikTok workouts on the way to the gym. I'm sticking with the cardio machine because I don't know how to navigate the weight room, or you're making your decisions on what workout to do based off of, oh, the chest press machine's open. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, the bench is open. I'll do that. Squat rack's open. Oh, maybe I'll do that today. Or you're just doing shit you remember from practice. But because you're not confident that what you're doing is working, you incentivize yourself less to make the time for it. So if you're not confident that what you're doing is working, we already established you're probably on a limited schedule. If you don't even know with confidence and 100% certainty that what you're doing is going to work if you follow it, then after a week when you lose that motivation, you're not going to follow it anymore, right? So we need that structure versus when you played football or whatever sport you played, you go into the weight room, coach has the workout on the board, all you got to do is follow direction, right? Again, just winging it with your workouts, nutrition, kind of just said that. Same with the nutrition. You got to make these black and white rules for yourself. Maybe I'll just cut my carbs. Oh, I'll just cut alcohol for 30 days, as opposed to having a tailored plan for you and your goals and your body type and what you need at this stage in your life. No accountability, no coach. I know a lot of y'all guys have an ego about this of like, you feel like because you've done it before, you kind of know what to do. Like, you need to work out, move more, eat less. Maybe you're not able to put together a cohesive plan, but you feel like you know what work to do. So it's kind of an ego hit to say, hey, I need help on this, right? Especially as a man, right? I get it. But when you contrast on when you play sports, the reason you were in such a high level shape is because you had some type of accountability. You had your teammates holding you accountable. You had a coach bringing the best out of you, accepting nothing less than the best in terms of a standard, holding you to that high standard, right? Lack of identity. I think a lot of you guys saw yourselves as athletes when you played sports, so obviously it was easier to act like an athlete versus now you may see yourself as a dad, an entrepreneur, finance bro, whatever social archetype you box yourself into, and you're kind of listening to your coworkers bitch about how it gets harder when you're older. Oh, just wait till you have kids. You won't be able to make time to work out. And you're hearing family members bitching and moaning about how they can't do certain things. And, it's easy to fall victim to your surroundings in terms of the people you surround yourself every day versus like when you were an athlete, you were surrounded by athletes. So guess how you thought, like a fucking athlete, right? It was easier for you to go work out and do the right things because of who you were surrounded with, how you saw yourself, your identity. So you're kind of losing yourself after you stop playing sports and that was ripped away from you. You're doing something else. Now you kind of see yourself as that social archetype, if that makes sense. And then lastly, I think a reason a lot of you guys struggle is because you feel like nothing's tailored to you and no one prepares you for life after sports. So a lot of us love our youth coaches. We love our high school, college coaches, whatever sport you played, but they prepared you to succeed in the sport, but no one is talking to you guys and prepared you for life after sports. And that's kind of the reason I do what I do now, is because I feel like I wish I had somebody to take me under their wing and say, hey, Dow, like, this is how you work out. This is how you adjust to quicker workouts. Here's how you approach your nutrition, as opposed to all the shit I see online. It's just generic fitness influencers giving, generic advice. Maybe you feel like it doesn't speak to you directly. So that's kind of why I'm here. But anyway, let's address some misconceptions. Again, back with mistakes former athletes make. I think you guys think you need more time than you think you do because you're used to the 3-hour workouts and practices. You're used to the 2-a-days. You don't need as much time as you think you do. Like, I know a lot of y'all think I live in the gym, but realistically, I'm in the gym for 60 to 90 minutes a day, sometimes less. My mindset is, I got shit to do today. I go in first thing in the morning. I get a quick workout in, like I said, around an hour, come back home and I work the rest of the day. It's not even on my mind. It's not something I obsess about. It's not something I'm spending a ton of time doing. I'm not in there fucking killing myself for 2 hours a day. I'm not doing a ton of excess cardio just to stay lean. Like, I'm literally just making it a part of my day. It's an hour in the morning, and then it sets the rest of my day up to be great. So you don't need as much time as you think you do. My clients are in the gym, like I said in the beginning, for less than 5 hours a week. You don't need to kill yourself in the gym like you used to. Kind of just said that. You don't need to be laying in a fucking pile of sweat every workout. You don't need to be so sore that you can't sit on the toilet or walk up the steps after leg day. It's just unnecessary. So we got to unlearn some of that shit we learned playing sports. You don't need to cut your carbs, starve, or be extreme with your diet. I know a lot of you guys maybe didn't learn proper nutrition habits when you played sports. Like, I was talking to one of my guys on a check-in yesterday, played football in college at a Division I level, and it's like he could kind of get away with eating whatever because he was trying to eat for size to be a lineman. And, you're so active, you're going to burn it off anyway. But maybe you kept those same eating habits when you worked your sedentary job, and now it caught up with you and you gained weight. So my guy yesterday I was talking to, he used to just like starve himself and like cut his carbs to lose weight. And then he realized, hey, that's not the move because now I have no energy with my workouts. Very extreme, right? So of course I'm teaching him how to think about his nutrition a little bit differently. And now he's seeing results. But moral of the story is you don't need to cut your carbs to be extreme with your diet to lose weight. Like, just because you're used to suffering, like a lot of us associate success with suffering. You don't have to suffer to get to your goals. Sometimes you can feel good like doing the work, and it makes you want to do more of that work that's working, if that makes sense. But it doesn't have to be this suffering type of process just because we're seeing results. Like, you can have more energy, you can feel great with your nutrition, you can eat the foods that you like and still lose weight and get in the best shape of your life. So I think a lot of people just like don't understand that concept. So that's the diet. You're not too old, man. Like those guys I showed you in that first slide, the client before and afters, that first slide, a lot of those guys are in their 30s and 40s and 50s. They're older than me, right? But if you let most people you listen to your coworkers and your family members, they're telling you, oh, wait till you turn 30, your metabolism slows down, like all this bullshit that people are telling you. It's just not true. You're not too old to get in the best shape of your life. I literally have guys now telling me that they're in better shape now than they were in their 20s, and they're fucking 35, 40, 45, whatever the case is, because we're doing shit the right way. We're putting some real focus on this. We're following a system. We're following a process as opposed to just winging it. So that's always nice. And getting into why I do what I do, I'll talk a little bit more about talk a little bit more about this later, but that's what I mean when I say second prime, right? You're not past your prime. We're just reaching our second prime. So second prime won't look the same as your first. It can be better in different ways. So that's my point there. So what is your second prime? Why did I start this program? Why do I do what I do? I like to use the LeBron example. When I think about LeBron came into the league very young. I think it was 17, 18, straight out of high school. He was this high flyer. He was this super athletic guy. But, once he turned 30, he wasn't as explosive athletically. And he had to kind of rebrand his game. And he had to turn to more of this like high IQ, playmaker, passer kind of guy. He had to work on his jump shot, which he never really had early in his career. And although he doesn't have the same, he could still that's still the L train now. Come on now. He can still dunk on somebody. He'll still give you a poster every now and then, but he's not athletically what he was when he first came into the league. He's become more of this high IQ playmaker, shot creator kind of guy. And if he wasn't able to rebrand his game, then his career wouldn't be as long as it is. He would have retired 10 years ago, like a lot of his peers. His peers were not able to rebrand their game once their athleticism declined. So that's kind of what I mean when I say second prime. I like Tom Brady for this example a lot too, but for simplicity's sake, I like the LeBron example. Like he was able to rebrand his game. So you're kind of doing the same. Yeah, maybe your goal is not to go D1 anymore or start varsity, but like now your goal is to be a 5-star dad. You want to have more mental clarity at work. You want to be able to keep up with your kids. You want to have energy for these things. You want to be able to go on hikes on the weekend and not get winded. Stuff like that. So establishing what your second prime looks like, it's going to be different from your first. You're not trying to run a 4.5 40 anymore. We're trying to, just have more longevity, be around for the grandkids, that kind of stuff. So I see so many former athletes struggling with this. I feel like nobody's showing you guys like how to navigate life after sports. So that's why I kind of do what I do. So much generic shit out there in terms of the fitness influencers. Nobody talks about the mental battles you guys go through. And when I think about my favorite group of guys to work with, I told you guys my career background. I liked working with athletes the most, man. They're so coachable. They're very like, tell me what to do, I'll do it. Like that's the type of guys I want to work with, right? Not guys who are going to make excuses and I don't feel like it today. Like they just do the work. They just need that direction and that guidance. And they're so much more invested in the process, and it makes it so much more rewarding for me as a coach to help these guys get to the next level. And aside from that, like just what fitness has done for my own life, like it's given me so much confidence, not only in like the way I look, but the way I feel on a daily basis, just living in line with your values. And it finally made me feel like I had value to give to people. And it's opened so many doors to me in terms of just like friends I have, like connections I have, just things that have made my life a lot better. And if I'm able to even just share that with somebody else who may be struggling with their fitness and they want to get back to feeling like themselves, that's so rewarding for me. And it makes me feel like we've got some value to give. So let's talk about the prime method. And I'm going to tell you guys how my guy Zach got in great shape, how he lost, 40 pounds or so and got in the best shape of his life. He's adding strength. He's packing on muscle. Let's talk about what the prime method is. So we got 4 phases. Phase 1 is systemize, because I think you got to systemize before you optimize. So many of you guys come in and you want to get every little detail right, especially my former athletes. They want to get the meal timing down. They want to have their perfect 6 meals a day, and they want to get the workouts all tailored. Fuck that. We got to systemize. We got to get you guys being consistent and showing up first before we even worry about that, right? So the first phase is systemize. That's about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how fast guys pick this up. This is for my 16-week program up front. We're just focused on basic food awareness in the beginning. Notice how I'm not saying, you got to be perfect with your macros. I'm giving you a meal plan. You got to meal prep and all this shit. Basic food awareness. I literally have guys tracking how much they're eating, reading food labels, learning about their eating habits. Oh, when I eat this, I'm more full versus, when I eat this, I'm not so full. Learning about food so that we can set the foundation for the shit we're going to talk about in the future. Baseline consistency with your strength training and activity. I have guys hitting a step count, going to the gym a few times a week, doing some strength training stuff there. In this phase, you're probably going to lose a pound a week. Like, it's not uncommon for guys in my 16-week program up front to lose 15 to 20 pounds, right? And look better. Obviously, they're not where they want to be long-term with their fitness, but it's a great start. It's a great foundation. And sometimes if you're heavier, you got more weight to lose and you're willing to implement at a high level and you pick this shit up fast, you may lose more. I got guys losing 25 to 30 pounds in 16 weeks, right? It really just depends on your body. We're learning time and priority management. A lot of guys struggle with managing their time between their family and their work and their, whatever else you got going on. And they need a system to be able to make the time for their fitness. So we're kind of like dialing that in. Like, all right, show me your schedule. Like, let's show me where you can find 3 hours a week to work out. So we figure all that stuff out. And then again, not only just making the time, but making sure that when you go in the gym, you're not fucking around, you don't know what you're doing. Like, you have something to follow, so that way we can get the most out of that time. Lastly, building the habits aligned with a fit person. Doing the simple things. Nothing I'm saying is that crazy. It's like drink a gallon of water every day, get 10,000 steps in, hit your workouts, track your food, right? Very simple stuff, but doing that consistently day in and day out is what makes you aligned with a fit person. So building those habits in the beginning. Phase 2 is optimize. This takes about 10 to 12 plus weeks. And the reason I put such like a range on it is because everyone with their fat loss goals, some people only want to lose 20 pounds and then some people want to lose 50. And obviously that's going to take more time, the more weight you got to lose. So that's why I put that range on it. Phase 2, we kind of got the habits down. We're building some consistency there. We can start to build on the foundation that we established. Heavier focus here on food quality and macros and protein, nutrition-wise, so we can pack on muscle and improve your energy. So, phase 1, we're just focused on how much we eat. Okay, eat this many calories a day and like track your food and just be aware of what you're doing. Then we start to like say, okay, now that you've mastered that, hey, let's start focusing on a protein target, because as we're losing weight, we want to make sure that we're losing the right type of weight. We don't want to lose fat and muscle. We just want to mainly lose fat. And hitting a protein target is going to allow us to hold on to the muscle that we're trying to build so hard in the gym. And the macro is going to improve your energy. If we're eating the right amount of carbs, we're eating the right types of foods, we're eating more whole foods as opposed to processed bullshit, we're able to improve our energy in that sense. Workout wise, we're kind of focused on not just showing up to the gym, whereas phase 1 is kind of like, all right, man, you get a hand clap and a pat on the back for showing up to the gym 3 times a week because it's better than what you were doing. All right, man, now that you're there, we want to make sure we're getting the most out of it. We're focused on certain principles to get the most out of your workout so that we can, again, pack on muscle while we're losing fat. And then we're obviously continuing to build on those habits that we talked about before. Phase 3, recomp. This takes about 6 months to a year. And again, just depending on like how long you want to be in this muscle building phase or how long it takes to get to your fat loss goals, whatever the case is. So let's say, I got a guy who wanted to lose 30 pounds of fat. So he lost the 30 pounds of fat, and now we're at this point where we're in this recomp phase. We want to learn how to maintain that lean physique while eating more food. So let's say we had to bring his calories down to 1,800 calories a day to get him to that point where he's lean. I don't want you guys eating like that for the rest of your lives, man. You probably starve, right? You guys want to be able to eat more and enjoy your life to, be able to maintain that physique. I want you to be able to eat 2,500, 2,600, 3,000 calories a day and still achieve that lean look without stressing about what you got to eat. So that's what phase 3 is for, learning to maintain that lean physique while eating more food. So we're going to also pack on lean muscle to improve your metabolism, because I don't know if you guys know this, the more muscle you have, the more lean body mass you have on your frame, more muscle, the higher your resting metabolic rate, meaning the more calories you burn at rest. So that's why you see guys who have a lot of muscle on their frame. It seems like they can eat whatever they want. It's because they've spent the years and the time building muscle. So guys, this is not some overnight bullshit process. This is really how this stuff works. It's the actual science. So packing on lean muscle is going to improve your metabolism. That's what I'm teaching guys to do in phase 3, because we're eating more. We're gradually building that metabolism up, and it sets you guys up better long-term to sustain this lifestyle and sustain that physique. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that today. And then lastly, nutrition-wise, instead of having you guys in a calorie deficit, eating less, we're actually reverse dieting to improve that daily caloric intake. Again, maintain that lean physique. So gradually building your calories up week to week to eventually where you can eat more and like be comfortable and still be lean, have that 6-pack or whatever your goals are. So this is kind of that point where like people are like, hey, I want to maintain, or this is kind of where guys will tell me, hey, I want to focus on a bulk. Like you ever hear guys say that, hey, I'm bulking now. But we're doing it the right way, where you're not going to put on a ton of fat and just look like how you did when you started, right? We're going to gradually build that up, and that's kind of where guys make that decision. Phase 4, I call it sustain, because this is really where you're turning this shit to a lifestyle. Whereas, you were super dialed in the first year or so, really just trying to learn about food labels and learn about your eating habits and, follow the principles for workouts. We're trying to make this a lifestyle now, to where it's, you're at the point where I'm at 10 years in, and it's really not something you stress about. It just becomes a part of who you are. Like, all right, I wake up, and even though I compete in powerlifting, it's not something I obsess about all day. It's like I wake up, and it's just a part of my day. This is just what we do. I wake up, I go to the gym, I come home, I start my work day or whatever I'm doing that day. It's just what we do. So we want to make that a lifestyle. And I still know how to make it work. I'm still drinking on the weekends sometimes, and I'm still going out with friends and family, going out to restaurants. I don't feel like I'm missing out on my life just because I prioritize my fitness. It doesn't have to be this black and white thing. So this is where we're really learning how to make all that work. It becomes second nature, something that wow, this is super redundant. It becomes second nature, and something that becomes second nature. Y'all know what I mean here. It's not something you got to think about anymore. We're learning intuitive eating without having to track your food intake. Dude, if I told you to track your breakfast every day for a year, eventually you just know what breakfast looks like. You know what eating this certain amount of calories feels like. So you don't track your food so many times that you don't even really have to do it anymore. You kind of trained your mind to look at a plate of food and just know what it is. You built such an awareness and a mastery over food intake that you don't even have to track it anymore. You can kind of just make decisions off the cusp and know that it works with your eating plan. So the further we go and the more you've mastered this stuff as a skill, the less type of structure you need. And then lastly, we're learning some advanced strength training concepts, like the stuff that we're talking about day one in terms of the fundamentals. You know, once somebody shows me that type of consistency a year in, we can talk about some wild shit. We can change your programming up because I know you're going to be able to stick to it and master it. So here's how Zach implemented the prime method and how he got in the best shape of his life. Like I said in the beginning, he lost about 40 pounds. He got jacked, and you know that. Fuck, I forgot to put his before and after in here. So I'm going to show you guys my Trainerized account with him, which is the app that we use to set up his workouts and all that. So meet Zach. Unfortunately, I don't have the picture here. I'll show you guys in a second. He's a former athlete. He's been working out consistently for like 15 years, and he like hit a plateau. So it's not like this is a guy who never touched the gym before, and he's seeing those newbie gains. Like, this is a guy who has worked out consistently, but he felt like he was stuck. He hated feeling like, I work really hard in the gym and I don't look the part. Like, I don't look like a guy who's been in the gym 15 years. I still look the same. He felt like he kind of plateaued there. And this is a guy who doesn't have all the time in the world, right? He's got a home flipping business that, he's always traveling out of town. He's going to appointments. He's just got a lot of stress and a lot of time tied up in that business. And he's got a family. I think he's got 4 kids. He's got a wife, high school sweetheart. He's a very busy guy, but we still needed to find a way to make this work with his lifestyle. So we needed a sustainable solution. Before I continue, let me find his before and after too. Zach. It's my guy, Zach. Is this him? Damn, he's fucking ripped now. This is him, like, in the beginning. He's not like completely out of shape because this is a guy who worked out, but he wasn't happy with this. He was carrying a little bit of fat. This is him like 40 pounds later. He's got some visible abs. He's got some tone and definition in his traps and his shoulders. And not only that, but he's fucking stronger than he was. Like, I think he might have been like 220, 230 when he started. Dude, he's down to 180, 190 pounds, and he's fucking stronger than ever. He's putting up more weight in the gym than he did back then, and that makes him excited. So let me get back to my little PowerPoint here. So that's him. Need a sustainable solution. Phase 1 for us pretty much just looked like getting him in the gym consistently and doing it 6 times a week, focusing on progressive overload. So again, he worked out 6 times a week because that's just what he wanted to do. You don't have to be that extreme with it. Like, most of my guys actually only work out 3 to 4 times a week. But we focus on progressive overload because one mistake that he made, and I know a lot of you guys do the same, is he was pushing way too hard in the gym. This dude, before I talked to him, was literally taking every workout to failure and wondering why he wasn't making progress because he believed you got to work hard to see progress. And that's true, but you want to be very structured with it. So we had him focusing on progressive overload, which pretty much means, hey, we're going to take a step back and we're going to establish a baseline in the beginning. But then from that baseline, I want you to keep gradually building. I want you to add 5 pounds a week to your bench press every week, to your volume work. I want you to add a rep to your lateral raises every week. Like, just making small incremental improvements over time that eventually compound into something greater. And when you look back, you realize you're a lot stronger, but it's a very gradual approach as opposed to just training to failure all the time, right? It's a lot more calculated. We're tracking his food intake, just focus on the calories. We're not obsessing about anything. Like, he's still going out to eat. He's doing all the stuff he was doing before. Nutrition-wise, I'm helping him develop a grocery list on a weekly basis. We're giving him loose macros. I'm not saying, hey, you have to hit these exact 3 numbers or else it's all going to fucking go to shit. It's more so like, hey, man, just eat 2,500 calories a day. I think that's what I had him starting out at. And just like kind of focus on that. And once you master that, we'll go into the next phase. I gave him an eating out guide because I know he likes to go to Chipotle when he's out at his appointments, and those are always close by. And he wants to do date night and he wants to take the family out, and he doesn't want to have to follow some strict meal plan because it's just not realistic. He's not going to stick to it, right? Had him drinking a gallon of water a day because hydration is important. It keeps you more satiated, gives you more energy, helps you with your workouts. Cardio. We didn't kill him 2 hours a day doing cardio. We weren't doing any boring elliptical for an hour type shit that I know a lot of you guys are doing. Maybe 15, 20 minutes a few times a week just for basic heart health and then to get him into a bigger deficit. I had him doing 10,000 steps a day because that's something he would probably do naturally. Just had to be a little more intentional about it. It wasn't something we had to work too hard to do. And mainly just settling into that routine, right? Learning these habits. Phase 2, damn, I forgot to put the title there. Phase 2, optimize. We're focused more on progressive overload. Now that we've got that foundation of, hey, he's working out 6 times a week. Again, y'all don't have to work out 6 times a week. I say a minimum of 3 is what we need here. But he's working out in the gym, doing some strength training 6 times a week. And now it's not just about showing up. It's about getting the most out of it. Again, more progressive overload. Hey, let's add weight to this. I'm looking specifically at what exercise I know he's kind of sandbagging. And I'm like, look, man, we could push more on that. Because what a lot of you guys do is you're doing your bicep curls with 3 sets of 10, 60 pounds one week. And that becomes what you do for the rest of your life. You're always doing 3 sets of 10 with the 60 pounds. You're not pushing yourself. You're not saying, hey, let me do 65 pounds this week, or hey, let me do more reps this week. You're kind of just like comfortable with what you're doing. And because you're comfortable with what you're doing, your body adapts and you plateau, because that becomes your new baseline. So after a certain point, it's not enough to just do the work. You've got to do high quality work. You've got to look specifically where you can push yourself more. So that was kind of what we focused on there. Troubleshooting in terms of nutrition, we adjusted the calories down. So for example, like I had him start out at 2,500 calories. And if I noticed that his weight was stalling for 2 weeks, I didn't rush into these changes. But if I noticed like, hey man, your weight's kind of been stalling for a couple weeks, we would gradually adjust his calories down, which is something he didn't know to do on his own. Like it wasn't, hey, let's slash your calories in half and have you starve because you stopped losing weight. Or like, hey, let's get hasty and make a decision after one day where your weight fluctuated on the scale. It's nothing like that. It's more so like the trend of his body weight after 2 weeks was kind of the same. And it's like, hey man, let's take 100 calories away. You're pretty accurate with your tracking. If we take 100 calories away, 150 calories, whatever, we bring it down to 2,400, 2,350, that's going to make a difference, right? Because you've been following what I told you for so long. If you put yourself in a bigger deficit, you're going to lose weight. So every time we would notice that type of plateau, we'd make a change there. Eventually we got him to his goal weight. We're learning at this point, now that he's tracking his food, he understands food labels, he's learning more about nutrition in general. Now he's learning how to eat while traveling. He had a couple golf trips, a couple work trips. We had to go out of town, and we're teaching him how to eat at restaurants and what to do when you don't have meal prep or when you don't have like access to the things you need, what kind of decisions we're making. We're teaching him how to think about eating at this point, how to navigate the date nights, switching his food options up when, once a lot of guys I work with are pretty simple, straightforward kind of guys with their nutrition. They like simple stuff. They'll find something that works and they'll stick to it nutrition-wise. Like they're kind of just cool with eating the same shit every day. But at this point, it's like, all right, man, I know you're tired of that meal. Like let's find other ways we can incorporate other things that you like into your diet, or let's switch it up so that you can have some variety with your food. Now that we have a system, we can optimize that system. Does that make sense? So at this point, heavier emphasis on the macros and the protein. So now that we've kind of mastered eating 2,500 calories a day or whatever the goal we had at the time, it's like, all right, man, now that we're doing that, let's also get 200 grams of protein in a day, because that's going to ensure that you build muscle or maintain muscle while we're in this deficit so that you look the best as possible. Phase 3, we got him down to 180 pounds. So this is like after his 16 weeks. I think it took like around 6 months to get him to his goal weight. He lost 40 pounds. This is where we wanted to like reset his metabolism, because we got him in the deficit. We had his calories pretty low. And it's like, hey, man, I want to be able to maintain this look without eating so little. I want to be able to eat more food and enjoy myself and pack on some muscle. So his goals kind of shifted at that point. So we got him down to 180 pounds, wanted to put on muscle. His goals changed there. We started a reverse diet. So now that he mastered tracking his food and awareness there, I forgot what the number was. It might have been like around 2,000 calories, but we would add 50 calories a week consistently until he got to about 3,000. And it took a little while to do it, but like because of that, maybe he gained a few pounds naturally, but he's still maintaining and putting on muscle, but he's eating so much more than he was when he started. So I think that's pretty cool. And it's like, just goes to show you that you don't have to suffer forever. That's just kind of like the first phase. You got to eat less to like lose weight, but that's not how it is for the rest of your life. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, damn, the reason I'm not trying to lose weight is because that really sounds like it sucks and I'm not really ready to commit to that for the rest of my life. The good news is you don't have to. It's not always going to be like that. Once you get to that point, you can start packing on muscle and eating more food and maintaining your weight again. So programming wise, I started prescribing him numbers in the gym to make his progress a little bit more predictable. So in the beginning, like I said, I had guys doing progressive overload, like, hey, add weight to this every week and add a rep to this, blah, blah, blah. That's something you can get away with for a while, but eventually you're going to hit a wall, because if we're adding 5 pounds to our squat every fucking week for the rest of our lives, we'd all be squatting 1,000 pounds by now, right? If you're doing this for any substantial amount of time. Obviously, you're going to hit a wall at some point. We had to be more calculated with when we push. So now it's not on a weekly basis. Maybe it's a monthly basis we're hitting PRs. And I'm finding out how we can squeeze more progress out of his programming because I know his numbers. I know what he does every week. And I'm like following the trends. Now I'm looking at this, taking a deep dive and saying, all right, here's the weeks that we should push based on the data. Here's the weeks we shouldn't push. And this is going to set you up to where you hit a PR this week every time. And I'm prescribing him numbers and teaching him more about why that is the case. And it's just like more advanced stuff we can get into when someone shows me that type of consistency for a long time. At this point, he's sending me videos to fine tune his form. It's not just about putting on muscle. It's also about doing these lifts correctly. He wanted to improve his bench press, so I have him send me his bench press video every week. And I'm finding little things we could tweak with his form to make sure that he's better. Again, like nutrition-wise, I said before, we built him up to pretty much 3,000 calories a day, and he's pretty much eating whatever he wants. He's not stressed about his food anymore. He's going out on date nights, and he's not really worried about it. So I showed you guys this before and after. But, yeah, that's pretty much the Prime method. Zach has been with me for about a year at this point. He's in the best shape of his life. He's loving it. He's very happy with the progress. Like, I'm going to put this on like the YouTube channel. I actually have his client interview, his Q&A, whatever you want to call it, on that channel. So if y'all want to watch that, go ahead and click on it. But it's pretty cool to see what can happen. And it's like, I know a year or 2 years, whatever the case, sounds like a long time. But when you think about how long you've probably been spinning your wheels with your fitness, you would love to look back at 2 years and be out of shape and be in the best shape of your life right now. Like looking back 2 years ago, it's like, damn, if I would have just put in the work when I said I was, I'd be in the best shape of my life. Like it's really not a long time when you think about it. So I love what Zach's been able to do. He's still working with me to this day, and we're just getting started. You know what I mean? A year in, he's in the best shape of his life. We've gone through all these phases. We're heading into phase 4 where he probably won't even have to track his food anymore, guys. So I know this is like a really long video. I just wanted to make sure I was doing a thorough deep dive on this subject. So if you'd like to work with me to reach your second prime, you're a former athlete watching this and say, hey, I resonate with everything he's talking about. I feel like this is something that I'd like to learn more about and just be a part of. If you're a former athlete who's ready to reach your second prime, then fill out the form and let's get on a call. In this call, I'm going to put a link in the description here so you can fill out a form, have your phone number, your email, whatever, a way to get in contact with you so we can schedule something. But this call, it's not me trying to sell you anything and, hey, this is why the program's so great, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to hard sell you on anything. It's literally just for me to learn a little bit more about your goals and see if I can help you. Because let's face it, you're scouting me out like I'm scouting you out. I'm not the best fit to be everyone's coach. Not everyone's the greatest fit to be my client. Like you see how specific I am with like what I'm looking for in a client. It's like, dude, I'm not going to, if it's not a 100% fit, it's not going to work out, right? If you're not ready to do the work and step into the best version of yourself, then it doesn't matter how good of a coach or how good this program is, it's not going to work for you, right? And equally, you got to make sure that you vibe with my coaching style, right? So that's what that calls for, kind of get to know you more and learn a little bit more about your situation. And it's not an information call either. Like, don't book a call and, hey, man, I just want to learn a little bit more about this. Like, I've got so many free resources that I can send you. That's not what that calls for. It's for people who are serious about getting in the best shape of their lives, and I'm helping them there. So if you'd like to reach your second prime, you're ready to do that, just click that link, fill it out, and we'll set up a call. But other than that, this video is getting pretty long, so I'm going to end it here. Appreciate you if you watched to the end, and talk to you soon, hopefully.